Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that learning English is no longer something that scares you. Imagine speaking simple sentences without translating every word in your mind. Many people believe they need years of study and thousands of vocabulary words before they can have a real conversation. That belief has stopped countless learners from making progress.
The truth is much simpler than most people think. Fluency does not begin when you know every difficult word. It begins when you become comfortable using the words you already know. Real communication has never been about showing how many words you have memorized. It has always been about expressing your thoughts clearly and confidently with the words that truly matter. Think about the conversations you have every day in your own language. You probably do not use the most advanced vocabulary you know. Instead, you rely on a small collection of familiar words that help you ask questions, explain ideas, share emotions, and connect with people. The same pattern exists in English. A small group of useful words appears again and again in everyday conversations. These are the words people use while shopping, talking with friends, asking for help, traveling, working, and solving everyday problems. If you master these words and learn how to combine them naturally, you can communicate far better than someone who has memorized thousands of difficult words but rarely speaks. Many learners spend years collecting vocabulary like people collecting books they never read. Every week they discover new words, write them into notebooks, highlight them with colorful pens, and promise themselves they will remember them forever. A few days later, most of those words disappear from memory because they were never connected to real life. Learning becomes frustrating because the focus stays on quantity instead of quality. You do not become a confident speaker by filling pages with vocabulary lists. You become confident by using useful words repeatedly until they become a natural part of your daily thinking. Imagine building a house. No one starts by decorating the walls before creating a strong foundation. The first step is always to build something solid enough to support everything else. English works in exactly the same way. Before you worry about advanced grammar or rare vocabulary, you need a strong foundation of practical words that you can use every single day. Once that foundation becomes strong, learning new vocabulary becomes much easier because every new word connects to something you already understand. There is another mistake many learners make. They believe making mistakes means they are failing. Because of this fear, they stay silent even when they know enough English to communicate. They wait until they think they are perfect, but perfection never arrives. Every fluent English speaker you admire once struggled to form simple sentences. The difference is that they accepted mistakes as part of the learning process. Every conversation became practice. Every mistake became a lesson. Instead of worrying about sounding perfect, they focused on becoming better than they were yesterday. Let me share a simple story. A young man named Hassan worked in a small electronics store where tourists often visited. At first, he only knew basic English. He could say hello, thank you, yes, no, and a few simple questions. Instead of feeling embarrassed, he decided to use those words every single day. Whenever a customer entered the shop, he greeted them confidently. He learned 1 or 2 new expressions each week and immediately started using them. Within months, customers noticed his confidence growing. His English was still simple, but it was clear, useful, and natural because he practiced the same important words until they became effortless. Hassan did not become confident because he memorized a dictionary. He became confident because he trusted the words he already knew. This is exactly how your own journey can begin. You do not need to wait until your vocabulary reaches thousands of words. You need to strengthen the vocabulary you already have. Every useful word becomes more valuable when you learn different ways to use it. A simple word like make can help you talk about making breakfast, making plans, making friends, making progress, making mistakes, or making decisions. One familiar word suddenly opens the door to many different conversations. The real power is not hidden inside difficult vocabulary. It is hidden inside simple words used with confidence and creativity. Another important habit is learning to think in English instead of translating everything into your native language. Translation slows your brain and makes speaking feel difficult. Instead of translating, begin connecting English words directly with pictures, actions, and experiences. When you see a cup, think cup. not the word from your native language first. When you feel hungry, think, I am hungry. When you are tired after work, say quietly to yourself, I am tired today. These small moments train your brain to respond naturally in English. At first it may feel uncomfortable, but with daily repetition it becomes easier than you ever imagined. Remember that confidence does not appear overnight. It grows one conversation at a time, one sentence at a time, and one useful word at a time. Every day you choose to practice instead of waiting, you move closer to speaking naturally. Your goal is not to impress people with complicated vocabulary. Your goal is to communicate your ideas clearly, understand others, and enjoy the process of learning. When you stop chasing thousands of unnecessary words and start mastering the words that truly matter, English becomes less confusing and much more enjoyable. And this is only the beginning of a journey that can completely change the way you learn and speak forever. There is one principle that separates confident English speakers from those who always hesitate. It is not intelligence, talent, or even the number of years they have studied. The difference is consistency. The learners who improve the fastest are the ones who use English every day, even if only for a few minutes. They understand that speaking is a skill, and like every other skill, it becomes stronger through regular practice. A person who speaks 10 simple sentences every day will usually improve much faster than someone who studies grammar for 3 hours but never opens their mouth to speak. Think about how children learn their first language. They do not begin with perfect grammar or advanced vocabulary. They learn by listening, copying, repeating, and making countless mistakes. Nobody expects a child to speak perfectly from the beginning, yet adults often place that pressure on themselves when learning English. They become afraid of making mistakes, so they remain silent. But silence has never helped anyone become fluent. Every sentence you speak, even an imperfect one, teaches your brain something valuable. Every correction becomes another step toward confidence. One of the easiest ways to improve is by building short conversations with yourself throughout the day. You do not need another person standing beside you all the time. While preparing breakfast, describe what you are doing. Say, I am making tea, I need some sugar, the water is hot. While walking outside, notice the people, the weather, or the traffic in English. Before going to bed, spend 2 minutes talking about your day. These simple exercises may seem small, but together they create a powerful habit. Your brain slowly becomes comfortable thinking and speaking in English without waiting for permission. Let me tell you about another learner named Sarah. She dreamed of working for an international company but believed her English was too weak. Every evening after work, she spent 15 minutes speaking to herself in front of a mirror. At first, she felt awkward and could barely complete a sentence. Instead of quitting, she continued every day. She described her room, talked about her family, explained her future goals, and even practiced answering imaginary interview questions. After several months, something amazing happened. She no longer paused after every word. Her thoughts began flowing naturally because she had trained her brain to organize simple English sentences every single day. When she finally attended a real interview, she was nervous, but she was able to communicate clearly because practice had replaced fear with confidence. Listening is another habit that many learners underestimate. If you want to speak naturally, you must first hear natural English regularly. Listen to podcasts, interviews, audiobooks, or simple English videos that match your level. Do not worry about understanding every single word. Instead, focus on the words and expressions that appear repeatedly. When you hear the same phrase many times, it slowly becomes part of your own vocabulary. Your brain starts recognizing natural sentence patterns without forcing you to memorize complicated grammar rules. Another powerful technique is repetition with variation. Instead of learning one sentence and forgetting it, change 1 or 2 words to create many new sentences. For example, if you know the sentence, I like reading books, you can easily create I like watching movies, I like drinking coffee, I like meeting new people, or I like learning English. The sentence pattern remains the same while your vocabulary grows naturally. This method teaches your brain flexibility instead of memorization. Soon, you begin creating your own sentences without depending on examples from textbooks. Many learners also believe they need perfect pronunciation before they start speaking. In reality, communication is far more important than perfection. People from every country speak English with different accents. What matters most is being understood. Focus on speaking clearly instead of trying to sound exactly like a native speaker. Improve your pronunciation step by step, but never allow fear of your accent to stop you from speaking. Confidence makes communication stronger than perfection ever can. You should also develop the habit of asking simple questions because questions keep conversations alive. Learn to ask things like, "How was your day? What do you think? Can you help me? Where are you going?" Or, "Why do you like this?" These questions encourage longer conversations and give you more opportunities to listen and respond. Communication is not only about speaking, it is also about showing interest in the person you are talking to. A curious learner naturally becomes a better speaker because every conversation becomes another learning opportunity. One of the greatest advantages you have today is technology. Your phone can become your English partner if you use it wisely. Record your voice while speaking for 1 or 2 minutes about any topic. Then listen carefully. Notice where you hesitate, where your pronunciation needs improvement, and where your sentences sound strong. This simple exercise allows you to measure your own progress. After a few weeks, compare your newest recordings with your older ones. You will hear improvements that you may not notice during daily practice. Those small improvements build confidence and motivate you to continue. Always remember that fluency is built from hundreds of small victories, not one giant breakthrough. Every new sentence you speak, every useful word you remember, every conversation you complete, and every mistake you learn from becomes another brick in the foundation of your English. Keep moving forward with patience and consistency. The learners who refuse to give up are the ones who eventually discover that speaking English has become a natural part of their everyday life, not because they learned everything at once, but because they improved a little every single day. As you continue improving your English, there is one mindset that will make a greater difference than any textbook or language course. Stop measuring your progress by how many words you know and start measuring it by how many ideas you can express. A learner who can explain a problem, share an opinion, ask for help, and describe daily experiences using simple English is already making real progress. Communication is not a competition to use difficult vocabulary. It is the ability to connect with another person, and that ability grows stronger every time you choose to speak instead of remaining silent. Many learners become discouraged because they compare themselves to fluent speakers. They watch interviews, movies, or social media videos and think, "I will never speak like that." But they forget one important truth. Every fluent speaker once stood exactly where you are today. They also searched for words, made grammar mistakes, mispronounced sentences, and felt nervous while speaking. The difference is that they continued practicing even when progress felt slow. Success in English is not about being naturally gifted. It is about refusing to quit when learning becomes challenging. One habit that can completely transform your speaking ability is reviewing instead of constantly adding new information. Imagine learning 20 new words every day, but forgetting them after a week. Compare that with reviewing 10 useful words every day until you can use them naturally without thinking. Which method will help you more during a real conversation? The answer is obvious. Your brain remembers information through repetition, not through endless memorization. Every time you return to familiar vocabulary, you strengthen the connection between understanding and speaking. Eventually, those words become automatic. Another powerful strategy is connecting English with your real life instead of treating it like a school subject. If you love football, learn English through football news. If you enjoy cooking, watch simple cooking videos in English. If you like technology, read short articles about new gadgets. When English becomes part of your hobbies and interests, learning no longer feels like hard work. Instead, it becomes something you naturally enjoy. This personal connection helps your brain remember vocabulary more easily because every word has meaning beyond a classroom exercise. Let me share another inspiring example. A university student named Ali always believed his English was below average. During presentations, he became so nervous that he forgot even the simplest words. One day, he made a small promise to himself. Instead of trying to memorize hundreds of new words every week, he would focus on speaking for just 10 minutes every day. Sometimes he described his studies. Sometimes he talked about his dreams, his favorite books, or his plans for the weekend. At first, those 10 minutes felt difficult, but after several months, speaking became easier. His confidence during presentations improved dramatically because he had trained himself to think in English instead of translating every sentence. His success did not come from studying harder than everyone else. It came from practicing smarter and staying consistent. You should also remember that listening, speaking, reading, and writing support each other. Reading simple English stories introduces you to natural sentence patterns. Listening teaches you pronunciation and rhythm. Writing helps organize your thoughts. Speaking allows everything to come together. When these 4 skills work as a team, improvement becomes much faster. You do not have to spend hours on each one every day. Even a balanced routine of 20 or 30 minutes can create remarkable progress over time if you remain consistent. There will be days when you feel stuck. You may forget words you learned yesterday or struggle to understand a conversation. Do not mistake these moments for failure. Every learner experiences them. Progress in language learning is rarely a straight line. Some days you move forward quickly, while other days it feels like nothing has changed. Yet every practice session is strengthening your brain, even when you cannot immediately see the results. Trust the process and keep showing up. Small improvements repeated over many months create extraordinary results. One of the best ways to stay motivated is to celebrate small achievements. Maybe today you understood an English video without subtitles. Perhaps you successfully ordered food in English or held a 2-minute conversation without translating. These moments may seem ordinary, but they are signs that your confidence is growing. Every achievement, no matter how small, proves that your efforts are working. Celebrate those victories because they remind you that fluency is built step by step, not all at once. From today onward, make a simple promise to yourself. Do not wait until you feel ready. Start speaking with the English you already know. Use simple sentences, repeat useful words, ask questions, make mistakes, and keep improving. Every conversation is another opportunity to become better than you were yesterday. Confidence is not something that appears before action. Confidence is the reward you receive after taking action again and again. As this journey continues, remember one powerful truth. You do not need perfect grammar to begin speaking. You do not need an enormous vocabulary to express your ideas. You do not need to sound exactly like a native speaker to communicate successfully. What you truly need is the courage to practice consistently and the determination to keep moving forward. The useful words you already know are enough to begin building meaningful conversations. With every day of practice, those words become stronger, your sentences become smoother, and your confidence becomes unshakable. So whenever you feel that learning English is impossible, remind yourself why you started. You started because you wanted better opportunities, stronger communication, greater confidence, and a brighter future. Those goals are still waiting for you, and every sentence you speak brings you one step closer to them. Keep practicing with patience, trust your progress, and never underestimate the power of simple words used every single day. One conversation can change your confidence. One habit can change your learning. And one decision to keep speaking no matter what can completely change your future. The journey begins with the words you already have, but where it leads depends entirely on your willingness to use them every single day.